All right, so basically we're going to go through how we automate processes in MYOB Advanced. MYOB Advanced, perfect product for automation. There's so many ways that we can automate things through using scheduled bulk processes, through automating reports, business events to notify people on sending notifications through emails, push notifications, text notifications, even using the API to automate tasks. The whole system is designed around automation, so it's actually the perfect theme for our wonderful little product that we all use. The first thing that I'm going to show you about that we can automate in Advanced is I'm just really going to show you three main things. Obviously, the API is very technical. I'm not going to get into that. But we will talk about how we can automate a bulk process. And for an example of that, I'm going to just show you how we automate emailing invoices. All right, so when we come to automating in Advanced, we do need to be very mindful that not just because we can automate it doesn't mean we should automate it, if that makes sense. We want to be able to have a good business case for that, the automation of our processes, because what works for one doesn't necessarily always work for another business. For an example, say one company would like to automate the scheduling of the creation of their shipments, which basically means we're going to, every time sales orders get entered in, and that's all the salespeople do. Then in the background, the schedules run automatically, and every time there is stock to deliver an order, that the shipment for that order gets created. That will work for some businesses, but not necessarily for other businesses, because back order rules can be quite tricky and sometimes require human intervention. So just because we can doesn't mean we should. But one process that we will need to, could automate is the emailing of invoices, because why do we need to sit there and send those out manually? All right, so I'm just going to jump into the customer account so I can show you a little bit of settings that tend to affect these processes. So just like my example of the shipments, the back order rules, those are all settings that need to flow through from the customer account through to the sales order in order to manage those properly. Same thing with sending emails, invoices in bulk. And that's really a simple setting on a customer account, and that's this one here, send invoices by email. That needs to be set on the customer account for them to get the invoices in the email sending schedule. That flag flows through to our customer invoice, which I'm just jumping to that screen quickly, and that'll be under the financial tab. So you can see whether it has been done or not. So you can see there, I've got a flag for printed, it's cleared, emailed, it's cleared. I've got a flag for print. In other words, we don't want these invoices it's not stopping us from printing it, but it's not going to print it in a bulk process. But my email flag is not ticked, which means this invoice will get picked up in the bulk process to email invoices. Now I can go into each invoice one at a time and click email and send it out that way, but that's going through them one at a time. That's not very most efficient use of my time. So I'm going to go to our process, which is print, email, invoices, and memos. And here is a bulk process that I can do, and I can select my action from the drop-down box here as to being email. And you can see I've changed my date back a little bit in time already because, this accounts receivable person has been a little bit slack, been on holiday, and haven't emailed invoices out for a while. So just making sure we're catching all the invoices, I set my date back quite a bit. All right, now I can manually come in here once a day and click process all, and that will send out the emails. But again, that's an extra step somebody needs to do. So why don't I schedule this and put it on a schedule and let MYOB Advanced do the work for me? When I do bulk scheduling, as I mentioned before, most screens in MYOB Advanced can be scheduled and put onto a schedule. And the key icon that you're looking for that screen to happen is this one here. We don't require a consultant to get involved in setting up these schedules. These are things that you can all do on your own. So it's quite efficient. I'm going to quickly just add a schedule, and I'll show you how easy it is. All right, just click on my drop-down box on my icon, and I click Add. Pretty intuitive. All right, and here I'm going to give my schedule a name. So I'm going to go email invoices. Daily 7 a.m. in the morning. So that means when I get my every morning at 7 o'clock, I'm going to have my emails sent out from the day before. I'm going to choose no execution limit because I want it to continue to run. If I left it in there, I can put in a number in there and say runs 10 times, and then it'll run for 10 days only and will stop. And that's just a history thing. You can keep full history or keep one of them in history. It's entirely up to you as to how much audit you want on that. In terms of the schedule itself, I can choose how often I'm going to run this, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, or by financial period. For my example, I'm going to do it daily. And I'm going to say, when is my next execution date? Well, I want my execution date to be this morning, today, all right? It's going to be scheduled every 1 day. I can make it every 2 days, every 3 days, and then it will just adjust the date accordingly. The important bit is I need to tell it what time it needs to start in the morning. So for this one, I want it to start at 7 a.m. I'm going to give it time to start at 7 a.m. and it automatically fills in my next execution time being 7 a.m. This every is what is my interval between each one? If I put in 01, it will run every hour between 7 o'clock and whatever time I put in the stops on. But for the schedule, I only want it every 24 hours, once a day. So I'm going to leave that as zeros. Okay. For my conditions, there's nothing I don't need to worry about that. The filtered tabs goes through a lot of information. You can see the action there is email. If I just move that across there, all these field names relate a little bit to these actions at the top of my screen. It has populated according to what I have had already in there. And for the date section, you can see it's relative and relative, which means it will adjust itself every day accordingly. Okay. And then I can just save and exit that schedule, and I don't have to worry about it. MYOB will take care of emailing my invoices for me. Pretty easy, isn't it? All right. Okay, so that's emailing of invoices. What else can we automate? Well, one of my other examples was that we said we'd talk about is emailing of reports through an automated schedule. So what happens if my customer decides they want a report emailed to them weekly about their sales for that particular week? All right, so we create our report. I'm going to just go to my receivables reports, and I'm going to pick the sales profitability by customer report. That is a normal report, not a generic inquiry. So here I want to set this up to email as a template. All right. First of all, I don't want to send all the customers to every single person, to all my customers. I want to create a template for each one of my customers so that they get only their sales, only the ones that require it anyway. I'm going to pick my important customer over here because that's the one I've got transactions against. And I'm going to tell it under my print and email settings who that report needs to go to. So in my to box, I'm going to pick an email address. And I'm just going to pick my own email address. I'm going to put, I'll leave CC out and CC out. You can obviously fill those in if you want. Give it a subject. This is the subject of the email. And so weekly sales report from CBC company, your company name. It means something to the person receiving the email. All right. And then I'm going to save this as a template. All right. Weekly sales important customer. Yeah, if I can spell correctly, customer. Right, give that a save. Can you see under my template, I've got it populated now. So that's my template. You can see I've got a couple of other templates in here. I've got a test one, because this is a test database. I've also got an important customer report, which again fills in the same information in my print and email settings. Now, with sending out these reports, there is a little trick to it in terms of I can't go and schedule the template straight away. I need to set up my schedule first. So to do that, I'm going to set up an automation schedule. So I'm just going to type in there and let's go to our automation schedules. I'll open that in a new tab. This is the one that's sort of got a kind of a little trick. All right, so we need to get a meaningful name. Here I suggest we're doing something a little bit more generic, so we don't have a particular schedule for each individual customer. We can just call this a weekly customer sales. It means something for us. Screen ID in here, that's the important bit. We need to make sure that we're picking up this screen ID, send reports. All right, and that is what will come through and makes us know there's going to be a report that's going to be sent. Okay, again, as we set up our other schedule, we can set, it's got the same rules, same principles behind it. We want to set that up weekly, and we're going to send that on a Friday at, let's say, we can start that at 8 o'clock in the morning. But I want to only, I'm going to send that at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. All right. Every 24 hours, which means it's going to come through in 24 hours. Let's just make that by 5 p.m. Right, so that starts then. And save that. Right. So we set up our schedule first, and then we can go back to our template. Now I'm just going to refresh that screen so that we can make sure our schedule that we've just created gets picked up. I'm going to choose my template that we created earlier, weekly sales, for my import customer. Important. I can click, yes, my email address and everything has saved in my template, which is great. Now I'm going to schedule template. And from my schedule template, I can choose my schedule that I've just created, which is the weekly sales reports to customers. And when I click OK, I now can be confident that that is going to go through to that customer on a weekly basis. I can add multiple customers and multiple versions of this report to the same schedule, and each individual customer will get their report. To check that it has actually worked, if I come into my automation schedule and just refresh it, and I look under my filter values, let's refresh that there. And come to my condition. Did I put it to the right schedule? Of course. That's the one, weekly sales report to customers. See, I got the wrong schedule. There we go. All right. So there it has put report ID, which is your same screen name, screen ID. If you're looking for your report at the top, there's the screen ID, and that's come through to the report ID. Who's it going to? And you can see every time you add a report to that schedule, some more conditions will get added in here. So that's how you can check to see if it has been added to the schedule. All good? Right. So that's emailing reports, emailing invoices, or automating a bulk process. What about leveraging a business event? Okay. In my example here, I'm going to come into my customer here. So for this one, I have set up a business event that will fire when my customer's credit status is changed to credit hold. So this is just a manual thing, and the example behind this is really, it's a very simple example. We can do more complex things with business events and text messages and push notifications and email alerts and things like that, but this is a pretty straightforward example. All right, so if I go into my customer account, and put this customer on credit hold because their balance is quite high, haven't paid in a while, and I need my salespeople to help me get the money out of the customer. So I have got a business event that will email the salesperson to tell them that this customer is gone onto credit hold. They need to contact them. It's going to send them a push notification to their mobile device as well, which will allow them to go straight into the customer account and see any activities and stuff. And it's going to send them a text message so that if none of the two previous methods have worked, the salesperson is going to get a text message. So hopefully they're going to do something about this, right? So put my customer on credit hold and I'm going to save that. I don't need to contact the salesperson because they should get everything that I have got through. Now that might take a little while to come through onto the mobile device. Fingers crossed it comes through. In the meantime, let's show my mobile device, which is here. And if you can, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little notification that's popped up in there. If I swipe down on my mobile device, I can see my push notification that has come through from the customer, from our system. So it's saying important customer has been put on hold. And so if I click into that, it will allow me to log into the mobile app, which I'll do quickly. And it will take me to the customer's account. So from this case, when it eventually opens, demo databases. So here it's taken me into the customer's account. I can see that the customer is on credit hold. I can see what their balance is. Click on the activities tab. I can go through and I can see what activity has happened against this particular customer account. So if the accounts team have added an activity in here, it will populate in there. I can also create my own activity if I wanted to record a different action against them because I've contacted them or whatever I needed to do. And from the summary, I can also come into the account information tab and I can phone them directly from here. I'm not going to phone them because we don't need to. And I can just push that button and then my mobile device will phone them. So I don't even have to go and look up phone numbers or anything like that. All right. So that's the push notification that came through. If I go back to my phone's main screen, so I'll come out of the app and jump into my text messages. You can see I've got a text message about 3 minutes ago, which is when it got sent, to say that this important customer has been put on hold, on credit hold. The body of the text message is perfectly customizable. So whatever you decide to put in there, you can put in there from the business event. All right. Jumping back into MYOB here. If I've just got my Outlook on the side here to show you that I've also should have received an email. I've got a couple of them in here already. So there's all the reports that we sent through, and there is my email to tell me that that customer has been put on credit hold. All right. So that's about it for my demo today.